It's time now for an update from our business desk. And France 24's Catherine Bennett spoke to us earlier about the European Commission formally charging Apple with breaking antitrust law.
Antitrust laws are basically designed to promote fair competition between businesses and to make sure that one particular business doesn't end up monopolizing a particular sector or industry. Because obviously with those monopolies and if cartels are formed as well, that effectively strips consumers of their choice. Now, we're actually seeing US tech giants running into quite a few antitrust problems in Europe at the moment. Now, that's partly because of the way that competition rules are regulated differently between the two systems, between the US and the EU, but it's also because the EU is currently focusing on cracking down on those big tech giants, on GAFA, so that's Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and not just in antitrust either. So they're looking at antitrust issues, but they're also cracking down on them in digital taxation, for example.
And what has Apple done wrong exactly?
Well, the case that's happening here is that the EU has accused Apple of giving Apple Music, which is its music streaming service, an unfair advantage over rival music streaming services. So this is a complaint that was raised by Spotify 2 years ago. So this has been quite a while in the making. Now, what essentially boils down to the fact that Apple charges quite a high commission fee for purchases that are made on its app store. Now, so if you buy an app, for example, the developer of that app will have to pay up to 30% commission on any earnings from that purchase. And the problem is that they can't get round it. The App Store through Apple is, of course, the only way they have of accessing consumers and customers of Apple products, so people who have that iOS system. And this obviously poses a problem for those app developers because people with iPhones, people with iPads represent a third of the EU market. And so that's why developers call this the Apple tax, if you will. So that's one problem. And then the second problem is that Apple has made these rules within its App Store, which means that developers can't advertise alternative, possibly cheaper as well, subscription options, which are available elsewhere. And so that's where the case mainly lies. And we can listen to the EU's competition chief to hear more about this case.
And Apple not only sets the rules for the App Store, it also competes with its own app against many app providers. We are concerned that Apple's rules negatively impacts its rivals by raising its costs, reducing their profit margins, as well as their attractiveness on the Apple platform.
So what does that actually mean for Apple then?
Well, the problem with this is that it really hits Apple where it hurts. So its services revenue, that includes any fees that they've got through the App Store, actually is its second biggest source of income for the company. So if there are any changes to that, that's going to make a big difference to their finances. So the next step after these charges have been laid down is that Apple will respond to these charges. Perhaps they'll be able to find a settlement with the EU. Now, if not, they could risk getting quite a hefty fine, up to 10% of their global turnover, and of course they'll receive an order to change the way that their App Store operates. Now, what's interesting about this, it certainly isn't the last time that we'll see Apple come up against the EU Commission in terms of antitrust issues, because there are actually, as we speak, 2 antitrust investigations currently ongoing into Apple as we speak.
France 24's business editor there, Catherine Bennett, speaking to us earlier. Well, that's it from us for this edition. There's more news coming up. Stay tuned.